down 1-0, trying to put another victory together. They won yesterday. They had a rough week, winning 3 out of 7. We'll break that down in the second half hour of the show. But dudes, short on time tonight, so we're gonna go ahead and get ready to get into Washington football team coverage. But before that, Robbie G, how you doing tonight, good sir?
I'm doing okay. Just a busy day, getting some last minute stuff together. So I apologize if the first 10 seconds of that got cut off on the Facebook feed, but we're all good. We're live here on Twitch. We're live on Facebook. We're live on Carol's channels, all the different places. Also, you can catch us sportsothp.com for all the old podcasts. But yeah, good weekend. I had a baby shower this weekend, maternity photos, all those good things. So happy the baby didn't come before that. That's kind of caused the problem if she does. So it's good. We're on baby watch. She's expected 2 weeks from tonight. So we'll see how many more shows I get to do. And then I'll be on a hiatus until January. But I love being on the show for as many weeks as I get to do it with you guys. And I wish we could talk about a win. I had the game in my ear just like I have tonight. I listened to it while I was at the baby shower, but I didn't watch it. So I will listen to your guys' critiques, but I was still disappointed because I think there was opportunities there to come away with a victory, but we came up just a bit short. But I'm curious about your guys' takes. I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, definitely it was a frustrating loss, and we definitely want to break it down. Dude, Janae, how you doing tonight, good sir?
Oh man, I'm doing great. It's been a busy weekend as well. Football, drag racing, it's been busy. So, but it's that time of year, right? So, happy football is back, and I'd be happier if I can get two of my fantasy players to get some points so I can win this game tonight.
Oh, don't get me started, bro. I'm down 50. But the good thing is I got Lamar Jackson going, I got Jacobs going, and I got Justin Tucker going. So I got a shot, but they got Andrews, the tight end for the Ravens. So I'm hoping that I didn't see how they scored, but I'm hoping Andrews didn't get the touchdown because then I'm in trouble.
Real
That
quickly,
was
let's talk
not.
about fantasy. I got to give you props, Dujan. You're leading the board right now in the pick'em, so that looked pretty good. So
That's
I did not
crazy.
do so well. I did really bad in college and professional. I had a bad pick'em week for me for the double, but I was happy to see that you're doing well. And Carol's doing pretty well too. I mean, it's all close. I mean, it's just 1 week, but
Yeah.
there were
Luck
some
of the
tough
draw this week,
games.
man.
Yeah, it was a tough one to pick.
It
Yeah,
was.
yeah, I snatched some defeats from the jaws of victory in some of my games I'm upset about. But yeah, it's like you said, this week one, we had to fill people out just like this game yesterday we're going to talk about. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting season with Pick a Man with fantasy football. So yeah, we definitely going to have a fantasy football and pick 'em show one of these days. But I'm trying to share the show, but I'm going to go ahead and excuse me, get into the stats and then get Dujanay's take when I'm sharing, and I give my take. As we said, it's an unfortunate 20-16 loss. Um, I'm gonna run the stats down real quick, and then let Dujanay give his take. Then I give my take and my synopsis of what I saw. Heineke, after Fitzpatrick got injured and he's out for 6 to 8 weeks. Breaking news. I posted that on the post. He's out at least 6 to 8 weeks. So Heineke is the starter going forward. A lot of folks were, already saying that and didn't want Fitzpatrick on the team anyway. The man didn't even last a quarter and a half. He's out.
Carol, I'm sorry. Like, I feel like I totally jinxed it. You and I were talking before the game, and you were like, you were so excited about him. And I said, if he stays healthy, this guy's rap sheet is he's never stayed healthy for an entire season. And like, it didn't even make a half a game. I'm just like, I'm so disappointed that I was right. I've never been so upset to be right. It's just, it's frustrating because we thought that the conditioning was good. Everything was setting them up right, but still he got injured.
Yeah, I was unfortunate with the tackle, the offensive line play and all. I'm not just going to just blame the tackles, but there was definitely some miscues on the offensive line, which was to be expected, but I definitely wasn't expecting what I saw, the offensive line breaking down like it did. Heineke went 11 for 15, 122 yards, one touchdown, no interceptions with a 119 quarterback rating. Herbert went 31 for 47, 337 yards, one touchdown, one interception with an 85.2 quarterback rating. Eckler had 15 carries for 57 yards with 3.8 yard average with one touchdown. Gibson had 20 carries for 90 yards for a 4.5 yard average. No touchdowns and one costly fumble that we're definitely going to talk about. Mike Williams had 8 catches for 82 yards, a 10.3 yard average with one touchdown. Keenan Allen had 9 catches for 100 yards with a 10.1 yard average, no touchdowns. Logan Thomas had 3 catches for 30 yards with a 10 yard average with a touchdown. And Terry McLaurin had 4 catches, 62 yards, and that's 15 and a half yards per reception. The team only had 15 first downs. They were 3 for 10 on third down, and the defense gave up 14 for 19 on third down. They had 126 rush yards, 133 passing yards, but defense had 2 sacks. Time of possession, LA had the ball for 36 minutes, and Washington had the ball for 23. And they had 8 penalties for 57 yards. It was some of the key contributing factors to the loss in this game. So, dudes, I'm gonna go ahead and share some of my pages, and I'll get your take on what you saw, and then I'll piggyback off of that.
Sounds good, man. So you want me to go with that now?
Yeah, you go ahead now, bro.
All right. Look, man. I know there's a lot of overreaction today.
No doubt.
And I know it's frustrating because they had the game won. And let's be real, it comes down to a couple things. The turnover was big in the spot that it was in. We saw they basically handed them 6 points right there. So that was kind of the difference. I will say defensively, I like what I saw. There were a few things. St. Juice was out of position a few times. There's a play that sticks out to me. He's a little bit high. He's supposed to let that receiver in the center or the slot there go by. There's a safety behind him to pick that up. St. Juice sort of came down. Linebacker was underneath. St. Juice is supposed to be over top. The other guy curling, leaves the guy wide open for a big play. We just saw some guys out of position. Now, my personal take on that is I like what Jack Del Rio is doing as far as rotating, but I think the rotation was way too heavy. Need to keep the starters fresh, of course, but I thought there were way too many combinations, try to get way too cutesy too early. Look, Justin Herbert is not a joke of a quarterback. He's very, very good. He can make those mistakes, and I thought they had him trapped, but there's so many things where you're putting out these different combinations of players where I think some people just kind of were just out of position, and it led to big plays on defense. Offensively, I mean, why is everybody so surprised? I guess because you're still on the preseason doesn't count kind of crap. Yeah, wrong. We saw nothing from the offense during preseason. For whatever reason, Rivera elected to not have his starters play in that third preseason game. I thought, and I'm sure as much as me, Carol, and likely Robbie also thought that they should have gotten some work. It's just more of the same preseason. I will say I'm not going to blame Scott Turner just yet. I need to see a little bit more consistency from the offensive line. I need to see the ball come out a little bit quicker, which we saw Heineke do in the second half. Now, I'd like to see what's going to happen now that he's got the majority of the work. And I get why they started Fitzpatrick here. Heineke did not look good in the preseason. And me personally, I think he was feeling a little bit of the pressure of competition instead of playing his game. I think we saw that in that first bit of time late in the second half before halftime, those high throws. He just wasn't comfortable. And then he came back out, started playing his game. He likes to move the pocket, makes plays with his feet. Even off-scheduled plays. He had a Brett Favre-esque like flick of the ball. Thought that was timely as well. We'll see. Is it? And I'll also comment real quick. I don't think it's time yet. You do need a backup and a serviceable backup. Okay. Let's be real with that. I don't think Kyle Allen is the quarterback, and I don't think he's a serviceable enough backup. my personal opinion. I know probably others think different. Who you going to get for that? I don't think you need to get a bum off the street. I don't think it's Cam Newton time yet. And I know I joked on Facebook about it. It was a joke. I was just kidding because I know how the headlines go in Washington. Once Fitzpatrick went down on it's a freak injury. Unfortunate.
What do you think about RG3 trying to jump into the mix, right?
I thought that was, I think it's the best troll ever. I will say this. I had an opportunity to watch Griffin a few times in Baltimore. He came here in Atlanta, watched him in Atlanta when they played the Falcons a couple of years ago. Thought he did an excellent job of spelling, Lamar, ran the offense very well, made some smart decisions with the football. If you're going to bring Griffin in, obviously he's the backup. Anybody you bring in is going to be the backup, even if it's Cam. It's going to take him a few weeks to get some rhythm with the guys and understand what they're doing here now. I understand he has familiarity, but what they're doing here in Washington now. So I like Robert making his case.
He's a smart guy from a marketing point of view. And then I think he's actually done a great job from an announcing point of view. Like I've actually watched some of his games that he has, and he's actually pretty solid. And I actually have to retract some of the things I thought about him. I think he's a very smart guy, and I think it wouldn't be a horrible backup, right? I don't think.
No, and I think he can play. The only problem I have is I have, and I think it wouldn't be tough. I think Rivera handles distractions, whether it's Cam or him. That's not going to be a problem. Rivera does an excellent job of handling that. There would not be a distraction at all. I think Robert's in a different place and would be an asset. I just think that fans would be a little nostalgic in the fact that the old Robert that's never happening again. I think we have to have that reality. That's never happening again. But the Robert he has done well when he's had the opportunity to come in and play. I feel other people feel differently, but I feel that he has had the opportunity to come in and play and do well. So it's Kyle. I mean, it's Taylor Heineke's team now. I kind of thought this was going to go this way eventually, that Heineke was going to get a chance. I hate to see it this way, though. I don't think it was Fitz's fault. I think the offensive line didn't give him a lot of help. But I think in this case, if your offensive line is going to be on the fritz for a little bit here, a guy like Tyler Heineke is going to cover up these little things that we're having with the offensive line here because of his footwork, the way he can get outside the pocket, make some plays. And I think with the week of practice, just a couple days here, and good thing they're at home, I think it's going to make a huge difference. And we'll see if he can grab some of that magic that he had late last season.
I'm going to have to, on the defense part, I'm going to have to disagree. I didn't see a lot that I did like, because to me, it felt like they were running, like you say, different packages. They were running, felt like it was running more zone, trying to only rush 4 and, flood the defensive backfield. But it was too many times where Keenan Allen, who they should have been keying on, was catching the ball with nobody around him for 5 or 6 yards. Same thing with Williams. Kendall Fuller, he was getting manhandled by Williams. I was wondering why they didn't, start him in the slot and let St. Juice go out there. Granted, St. Juice did get some work too, but Williams is a talented wide receiver. He's a rookie. The only way he's going to learn is being out there. So
absolutely.
And with Del Rio, I don't feel like he made any adjustments in the second half. I didn't see any type of blitzing. I didn't see any 5 or 6 man rushes throughout the whole game. I felt like he was in zone. He in the defensive line, with them having the game plan of quick throws, which helps negate the pass rush, which teams are going to do now, being how this team is built, until the secondary can prove that they're going to make teams pay for those quick throws with the defense alignments and putting people in the right position. And as you mentioned, having steady personnel on the field at the same time, you can get fancy and try to trick other teams, but then you're they're tearing up the chemistry of the team because players need to, work together on a constant basis to get that well-oiled machine that's going to force them turnovers and get them, 3 and outs and get off the field. I feel like that's why they, contributed to the 14 for 19 for the defense giving up on third down conversions, especially on that last series where they had that 3rd and 16 after the much hated punt. Yeah, after the much hated punt that Coach Rivera decided to do, which was a good idea. He was having faith in his defense, and if they would have held in that 3rd and 16, they would have got the ball back with 2 minutes left and 3 timeouts.
But do you agree with how long it took for them to get that punt off, though? I don't.
Yeah,
I thought if you're going to punt it, punt it. If you're going to go for it, go for it. But don't sit there and run your own clock down and put your back against the wall and then decide to punt it anyway. I mean, you ain't drawing nobody offside on a punt.
Yeah, that's the only logical thing that made sense to me is they were trying to draw them off sides and they were going to punt it anyway, but see if they can get them off sides to try to get the additional 5. And then you had everybody's favorite player, Troy Apke, get the penalty on that. And so that just added fuel to the fire. So I mean, like I said, I agree with the move. If they would have got the 3rd and 16 stop, whole different ball game. If Antonio Gibson didn't have that unfortunate fumble, because that's what kind of blew me.
That's the killer.
Yeah, last year he didn't really have any fumbling issues, and after a crucial turnover where your team has the lead, and that was their opportunity to milk the clock, go down the field, put another 3 points on the board, and maybe a touchdown, and ice the game. But you turn the ball over, give them the ball on the 3-yard line 3 plays later. The whole momentum swung, everything changed, and I feel like that was the turning point of the game. That's not the thing that lost the team the game. Like I said, 14 for 19 on third down conversions, 8 penalties for 57 yards. I definitely got to shout out Brandon Sheriff, the $18 million man, for those 2 costly penalties when didn't need those. And I just felt like the defensive line, they didn't show that they're all first-round picks yesterday. I didn't see enough pressure, even with the 4-man front, even with them having a quick passing game. Those third downs that they were getting was utterly ridiculous. They were 47 pass attempts, only had 2 sacks, and he only get knocked down like 5 times.
That's not good enough.
Yeah, that's not supposed to happen with this defensive line, with this defense at all. So I hope they.
I have 2 quick questions for you, though. Well, one, I want to do a quick scoring update. The Raiders just scored, so it's now 14-7. Ravens are still up. But the other question I had was, I was reading somewhere that they said someone was saying this is one of the best offenses that we'll face in the first half of the season. Do you guys think that that's true? Or do you think the defense was bad? Or do you think, because I mean, I now think this quarterback is for real. Like when the plays I did get to see, some of those throws were pretty great. So I just don't know if it's the defense having a bad day or their offense having a really good day.
Well, one thing I was pointing out to some folks is, because I thought it would be hard for the Chargers to get in sync because they didn't play any of their starters in preseason. Also, with them having a new coach and a new offensive coordinator, there was no tape on what they would do. So I think that played a factor in it. That's why I'm not really asking for Del Rio's head, because they had no idea what to expect from that offense with a new head coach and a new offensive coordinator. They were talking about it throughout the broadcast, how he's a New Orleans Saints guy with Sean Payton. You're going to see some of the things from there. And he was adding some other stuff that, they didn't scout. They didn't know what to expect. So that's why I'm not really, upset because it was the unknown, so.
And that guy, if you see, I mean, it's covering the Saints. You know what he can do, man. He threw some things, but then I also go with your thing, and that's where I had a problem with whether it's zone, and it looked like it was zone to me. Guys look to be confused, but boy, the one to Keenan Allen is the one that sticks out to me as well, because that pass was beeline, and you had like 3 or 4 football team guys standing right there, and he just had a nice little crevice and then was able to take a couple steps and lay himself down before anybody touched him. Those type of things contributed to the offense being well. Justin Herbert is a quarterback to be reckoned with. I just felt like you played into his hands. When when they did things to, tighten up the coverage, man to man, they had success. Herbert had to get the ball out. He had to make some tough decisions, some tough throws, and they did not connect. Then when you went to this kind of broad zone where guys are just hanging out, and you're giving guys like Keenan Allen and Williams, basically areas to just sit down in, Herbert's going to make that throw every time. 9 times out of 10, and I'll say 10 out of 10, he's going to make that throw. And especially when your guys aren't getting home up front, they kind of played right into their hands. And like I said, I just think too many rotating guys. It's great that they have that depth. And I think Washington football team fans should be happy that they have this depth, but you don't need to use all of it. You know what I mean? It's game one. I mean, the different combinations they had out there were insane. Guys that you wouldn't expect to be out there were out there. And I think you need to stick with the starters a little bit more here early in the season. I think we saw what they can do, in preseason. They were a well-oiled machine then. So I really think, I know, Carol, you're a little down on the defense, but I really have to throw it in Jack Del Rio's front lawn. The combinations, the schemes. I appreciate the creativity, but right now it's not needed, and it wasn't needed against this type of a quarterback. You get what I'm saying?
I feel you. I definitely see where you're coming from. And then on the offensive side, Heineke, if he plays like he did yesterday, this team would be all right, because he was poised. He was buying time with his feet, not necessarily taking off out the pocket, but buying time with his feet, making the defense suck up, and then hitting the man that was open because of that. He was getting out of bounds, protecting himself. He was reading the defense. He took the team on a nice drive. He made a nice play to Logan Thomas in the end zone, and like you said, he calmed down after that first possession. But as I mentioned, now with team game planning for him, is he still going to be able to play at this high level? Because remember the wild card game, he was a last minute, start, so they couldn't game plan for him. He had the great game he had. This game he came in, they didn't game plan for him. He had a above average game. So now we're going to see what happens when teams are now game planning for him to see if he can still play at that same high level with teams keying on his strengths and his weaknesses. That's what we're going to see if he's going to be the baller. My opinion, like I said, if he plays like he did yesterday when he came in after that first series, I think he can. But as long as he's taking his time and, playing smart, I feel like he can take this team, as far as they would with Fitzpatrick. And like you said, I agree with starting Fitzpatrick first. You always want to go with the veteran. If he falters, then you bring in the young guy. And then, you try to work with him. But Turner didn't do him any favors putting him in. And then, throwing the ball 3 times on the drive instead of, trying to get the running game to aid him, or at least give him some safer throws, some screens or something like that. But Turner definitely has some work to do in the play calling aspect. Especially with Samuel out. I was looking for Brown to have a big game. I actually started him in my fantasy football and I got a -0.2, which contributed to me being down 50 points today. But I'm looking good. I'm only down 30s. I forgot I got Waller going too. So, yeah, he's looking pretty good. But, the offense, hopefully they can get things together, especially on the offensive line. On the play that Fitzpatrick got hurt. Leno got torched on the inside, and that's how he got the hit. Cosme, he was constantly in trouble on the outside, but he was going up against, Bosa for most of the day. And, he's going to put in work. Oh, Dujan, I got a question for you. Isn't it? I thought they changed the rule that if you get 2 personal fouls in the game, it's automatic ejection. I thought that was the new rule they put in the CBA.
I'm gonna have to look that up, but I don't think you're wrong there. I'll have to look that up. I don't know if that was how they have these trial things during preseason, and then they figure out whether they're going to go ahead and make it a regular season rule. Yeah. I'm not sure if they decided to make that a full-on regular season rule, but that I'll have to dig for that one. See what that is.
Yeah, because I was wondering because he got Bosa got those 2 personal fouls, and I could have sworn that if you get 2 personal fouls, that that's supposed to be automatic ejection now. I could have sworn.
Right.
But like you said, it could have been one of those trial things, so I'm gonna have to look into that also.
Yeah. Because sometimes they have some
it might be
rules
for different things though, right? Like, so if it's 2 for the exact same thing, maybe it's different than if they're like personal
You get
fouls
2
for different things.
personal fouls, period. Yeah, the 15-yard variety. If you get 2 personal fouls in one game, I thought that was supposed to be
I thought you were right, but who knows? They've definitely changed the rules. I got a couple of questions and a bunch of people watching on Facebook Live. I just wanted to get them in. Eric was asking any chances to see Patterson soon, and what is Riverboat thinking about quarterback? It's insane right now. And then I also got a question from the Leon Lounge, who was on our show a couple of weeks ago. Jesse was wondering, do we work out Cam? I know we sort of talked about it a little bit earlier, but what are your guys' thoughts on working him out? So I'll let either one of you guys go.
With Jared Patterson, he got some go yesterday. He got a couple of carries after Gibson fumbled. He's definitely going to get into the game. They were trying to get Gibson going and get him into the passing game. He had 3 catches for 18 yards. He had 20 carries for 95. So he was having a good day until that fumble. So you want to see Patterson get mixed in there. If you see Gibson, put the ball on the ground again, I guarantee you're going to see more Patterson. And if Gibson don't be careful, Patterson might take his starting job. So you better secure that ball the way he's supposed to and keep 2 hands on him, especially with your goal line at your back. I was highly upset about that. And about Cam, Cam is done. I've said this over and over again. He's not the same Cam. Doesn't have the same arm strength. He can still run the ball and get you maybe a couple of victories throughout the season, but he's not that he can anymore. And you get beat out by a rookie. I think nobody even brings you in the camp to even be possibly be a backup. Because if you bring him anyway, he's going to be a distraction because he's going to be is Cam going to get in? So I just, to me, Cam isn't the same Cam. And I think, I don't know if it's all the social stuff that they be doing that's distracting them from being the Cam of old. But yeah, I'm not really, I think they're good.
What?
That's
I can't wait for Duzay's rebuttal. Just watching his face the entire time you were speaking, Carol.
That's what I feel about Cam, man. But I think they're good with Heineke and Allen. I think Allen is serviceable. If everything is going well, pocket protected, and he looked decent when he played last year. But yeah, Cam, I can't. To me, I think he's done.
I don't want to get political, but real quickly, I want to get Duzay's thing. But real fast, the thing that I don't like about Cam is I don't like the fact that he is hesitant about the vaccine. Like, I can't have that on my team. I don't want that to be a part of the team. Everyone needs to toe the line. I know that might get political. I know I might get hate for it, but I think from a standpoint of player safety, they're much safer if everyone does it. Like, they're all playing together. I just can't. It's hard for me, but that's my only problem with him. I do think he's a fine player, but Duzay, I want to get your take.
Jared Patterson, he's going to get carries if he keeps putting the ball on the ground. That's just point blank period. He already snatched Barber's job and sent him somewhere else. So it's not going to be a surprise if he gets in. Quite frankly, I don't see that being a problem. I'm going to say something that's very unpopular. Brace yourselves. Your Washington football team, whether you like the record or not, is the reigning, defending, undisputed NFC East champions. Now, last year, Mr. Rivera was talking about winning and starting fast. Okay. Now, your boy Heineke, he got at least 1 game, maybe 2. No more than that. They can't afford to lose 2 games. You know what your schedule looks like here? You play the New York Giants next. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, but I'm going to be blunt. They are not good. Daniel Jones is all I have to say. Giants fan at me. But I can tell you he's an interception machine. He didn't win that game yesterday. It was winnable, and he couldn't win it. Ain't going to win like that, bro. And if your defense is what you say is what it is and what we think it is, then this should be an easy win. Heineke don't need it. It's a short week. They ain't got time to be rolling too much tape. What they're going to get tape from last year? That was last year. So he got 2 games at the most, because you got Buffalo next. And then you got the Falcons, which is a winnable game. Falcons ain't that good at all. So they can't get behind the 8 ball too much because the Eagles are coming out throttling. I told y'all, Eagles number 1 in this division right now. Now, as far as Cam didn't get outplayed or beat by that rookie. See, Bill Belichick is lazy. Call it like it is. Lazy. All right. And so is his boy, Josh McDaniels. Lazy.
Right, so.
See, Cam wasn't done last season because he had nobody to throw to. I could have had Aaron Rodgers. I could have had Tom Brady. And there ain't no way that he won any games with that trash they had on the field. You couldn't name one star if you tried. I'll wait. Yep, because there wasn't any. There wasn't a daggone thing on that team. Belichick's head was too daggone big. And now the guy came out and said that he'd be willing to be the backup. But he is a big personality. And as a big personality, it means you need to have a big starter ahead of the game. And maybe Mac Jones ain't a big time personality to be able to have the cojones to have a man behind him and to learn from him. He's an Alabama quarterback. What Alabama quarterback you know done proven anything in this National Football League? I'll wait. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's what I thought. So Cam's been really bamboozled here. But like I said, this Washington football team needs to win. And Cam should be one of these 64 quarterbacks in this league right now, backup or starter. Who you going to that's going to win you games other than Cam Newton? Unless you plan on pulling some kind of blockbuster trade that's going to lose some talent to go get an Aaron Rodgers, who I believe threw in the white flag and threw in the towel and said he wasn't doing this. I told y'all that we ain't no good. I ain't finishing this game like this. So Cam done? Nah. Belichick lazy. Lazy. Because I saw Cam that can play during preseason. And they didn't even get him an opportunity. You just all of a sudden just up and just pull up a Mac Jones because he had like a good game against 2s and 3s? 2s and 3s. The guy threw what? I believe he threw 50 some times for 200 and some yards and 1 touchdown. I think Cam Newton can do that. He can at least do that if that's what you're looking for. But he an Alabama quarterback, and he got a lot to prove to me. Cam ain't done though. And your boy Heineke.
Would you prefer him over, let's say, an RG3?
Yes, yes, because I know that Cam can play. I don't trust Robert to be consistent. That's my thing. I don't think that he can't get the job done. But what more is he going to give you? You're going to go out and get a serviceable backup, then get somebody that you already know. I'm not saying that Kyle Allen is it, but I mean, if there's no Cam on the market, then you go and see RG3. But Cam is on the market. You at least kick the tires. And I'm sorry, Rivera said he was about winning last year, didn't he? That's what I thought, because that's why Haskins wasn't playing and all this other stuff. You couldn't give him enough time and all that. So I'm just saying, Heineke got a couple games. And if he come out and play like they played in this quarterback situation is right now, with the way it looked like, and they basically had opportunities and didn't connect on those opportunities, boy, I don't see how you can't pull the trigger because you're about winning. And this team has talent on the offensive side of the ball. Just needs a quarterback.
For me, though, like, Heineke didn't get the reps. I wonder if you give him reps, going into this game.
We gonna see.
Yeah,
right?
We'll see.
We gonna see. You got 2 games.
I definitely think we wait. I think we definitely wait a week to see what he can do on a short week for the Giants, right? Because I mean,
2 games.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my personal opinion. 2 games. Because right now, like I said, you look at the schedule. When you get to week 4, you got the Falcons. Then you get after that, you got the Saints. You saw what the Saints did. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. That's 5 touchdowns for Jameis Winston. I done told people about him too, but whatever. God, they still want to talk about 30 and 30. I'm telling you, he done learned something. Then you got the Chiefs after that. Come on, man. You can't have no Tyler Heineke playing like dudded for 3 or 4 weeks, and then all of a sudden you're going to make a change. Your season over. You likely get blipped by the Cowboys, passed up by the Cowboys playing like that. So he got 2 weeks because Rivera said it's about winning. That's the last time I checked.
But I mean, there's no way he's beating the Bills, right? So I don't. So I mean, it's like you're throwing in the towel.
But he's got to look good, is what I'm saying. He can't go out there looking like that.
Hey, the Bills lost yesterday, so they're Super Bowl contenders. So it shows that anybody can be beat.
Absolutely, I'm just saying he's got to go out and look serviceable. He can't go out there doing. We can't have what we had yesterday, 3, and 4 weeks in a row, because it's not going to win it's not going to win you ball games. It's just not.
The Steelers look better. The Steelers look better yesterday than we did, for sure. Though, if we're trying to compare, like, who would be going up against, like,
but everybody picked Buffalo to beat the Steelers.
Of course they did. I mean, we were all wrong in a lot of matchups. Like, I mean, I was the only one of the group, along with Brian, who's a Giants homer and thinks the Giants are going to win the division this year, to have that as an L yesterday. Everyone else on the team thought we would beat the Chargers.
It's not happening. Brian better go on and get his cocktail ready. That ain't happening, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
With Heineke, if he played like he did, for the most part, making smart decisions, then you have to also look at the play calling of Scott Turner. When Fitzpatrick was in there, McLaurin didn't get one target. Heineke got an 8, got 4 catches for 6.
How does that happen? Explain that to me. How does that happen?
I have no idea. I was scratching my head also. And he has to definitely mix it up more. I mean, I would love to see him mix the screen game in more. I mean, you got Gibson, you got speedy wide receivers, you got wide receiver screens, bubble screens, running back screens, because teams are going to be blitzing trying to get to the quarterback. So I'm hopeful that he uses that against them, because when a team pins their ears back and you get the screen game, will make them change their game plan, because you hit them with a couple of good screens when they come in with a blitz and you gouge them for 30, 40 and get them for a touchdown. They're going to change their whole game plan. So hopefully Scott realizes that. I like the amount of touches he gave Gibson and that he was, steadily running the ball. But I just feel like, he needs to mix the screen game in there more to help his quarterback and offensive line.
Absolutely. That's a good point. I mean, the amount of times they dropped back yesterday when they were having trouble and not trying to negate that quick pass rush was kind of it was a head scratcher. And I tweeted that. I tweeted that yesterday. There was a lot of things in this game that were head scratcher, but again, I don't think it's ain't no reason to go code red just yet. But I'm not trying to be a hot take on this whole thing with Heineke, but I mean, I'm just going off of last season and what Ron Rivera said. And this is Washington's defending NFC East champs. They have every ability to win this division. And they're going to need a quarterback to do it. And with no fits for 6 to 8 weeks, you got to call on somebody. You can't be calling on, you can't be calling on Kyle Allen. And if Heineke can't do it, Kyle Allen ain't doing it. I'm sorry. He's not doing it. So you got a quarterback out there. And he's familiar with the system. I hate for it to have to come down to that, but this is the Washington football team and crazy things happen. And here we are with quarterback going down with a serious injury, and they got a decision to make. But they have a division to win, that they have a capability of winning. So hopefully Heineke can do the job. But again, if he can't, they got to do something, because Rivera said it's about winning.
I have a quick question. So the Eagles right now are winning the division at 1-0. Do either of you guys believe in what you saw, or it's just they played a Falcons team that people thought was maybe overrated? Or I'll start off with Dujane, but then I want to get Carol's take on some of the rest of the division.
I don't know how anybody's high on the Falcons right now. I need to see a lot from their defense. They have one weapon on offense. It's going to come down to their running backs being consistent. So I think in the first game, you had to go with the Eagles. Their dynamic of Jalen Hurts and the weapons that he has around him.
I didn't go with the Eagles, and most of the nation, if you look at the split, most of the people thought the Falcons were going to win.
It's crazy to me that was the case, though. I mean, you look at that offense, it's kind of like Washington when they had Griffin in the early days. He has the ability to change the game just with his feet. Now you have to account for him. In the first game of the season, I mean, does that last 5 games down the road? No. And that's why I felt like, and I still feel like Washington can win this division. That's why I think a lot of people are sleeping on them. But then we end up with this quarterback situation. And you know, a good friend of mine, Emory Hunt, that was his big hangup. He could not trust the quarterback position, and why he didn't think Washington was going to be that good. I thought he was crazy. And here we are in this position. So we need someone to step up and make a play. Yes. And first game of the season, and here we are. But I think the Eagles have the ability to get over on some folks early in the season. You know, are you going to always be able to win with his legs like that? No, but I thought he made some really good throws to some playmakers on the outside. And if you don't have a defense, I mean, they carved up the Falcons. So I don't see why they can't do it to others who are struggling on defense.
Real quickly, I want to get Carol's thoughts on it, but before I do, scoring update, it's now 10-14, field goal right at the end of the half for the Vegas Raiders. They're at home. They're trying to call their ways back in to this matchup again. The Ravens are up by 4 at halftime. Good news, bad news in the Nationals game. In the 7th inning and in the 9th inning, Nationals were able to get 2 hits, so they were not no hit in this game. So that's good. The downside is they were still shut out 3-0 to the Marlins. Not that it really matters, but Carol and I really didn't want us to get no hit. So, I mean, that's the bright side. But Carol, your thoughts on the Eagles? Do you think this division is going to be one of those years? We've seen it in the past with the NFC East, where like every week it's a different team leading the division all the way up through until the end of the year. Or do you think someone's going to jump ahead and hold on to it? Or how do you, I know we're only 1 week in, but 1 week in, what are your thoughts on this division?
I'm definitely going to have to look at the Eagles a little bit closer. I didn't really, count them in the fight. Like Dujane mentioned with the quarterback, I don't, really know about the college guys until they get in there. And like you said, he can kind of like the young RG3 from 2012. So I'm gonna have to check them out and see. I know their defense is always quality, and now with quarterback like this kid they have now. I'm gonna just say I'm having a little flashback to the Vic days, and we know what happened on Monday Night Football when he was running things. So I'm gonna have a look at them a little bit closer and go watch I didn't actually see any of the highlights from their game. I'm gonna have to go check it out, but I just saw the stats and saw the numbers. But it's definitely look like they they got something to work with right now. Like I said, like Dujane said, to defenses get some tape and figure out some of the things they're doing and take away some of the things that they can use to their advantage. Then we're going to see how things fall out. But yeah, Washington definitely has some work to do, and they should come out on top on Thursday against the Giants. And I'll probably be doing the pregame show before the game, so tune in for that. We might have Brian B breaking down the Giants and his optimistic view of Daniel Jones. So see what we can do about that. But dude, Janae, we get you a quick prediction for the game on Thursday and let you get out of here. We almost went a whole hour. We said we was only gonna go 30 minutes.
Hey man, passionate about this thing, man. You got me all riled up with this Cam stuff. Shoot, talk about Cam.
We do this every time with you, Dujane. We always hook, line, and sinker, right?
if they sign him and bring him in and he plays well, I'll take back everything I said.
All right. We deal. With this Giants thing, I think Washington has every ability to win this game. I expect Tyler to come out and do what he did in the second half. I really do. It's a short week. I think that plays into Heineke's favor. I'm not sure if a lot of the game planning, we'll see as we get down the road. But this week, it ain't going to matter. I don't think the Giants Sunday didn't do diddly, in my opinion. And then with the defense, I think they'll get them right and tight. That's not, I think what we saw, Sunday was a fluke. Just too much scheming from Jack Del Rio, trying to be too cutesy. I think you'll get back to more what you saw in the preseason, and they're gonna dominate Daniel Jones, dominate him. Daniel Jones gonna throw some picks this on Thursday night. And I think it's going to be Heineke's night. He'll get to get through another week, and then it'll be Buffalo, and we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, well for him, because I think he deserved an opportunity to get an opportunity to carry this team, especially after what he did last year. So I'm going to take Washington, and I think it's going to be like 21-13.
Oh wow, one of those NFC East, old school,
Defense scores a
slug it out
touchdown
game.
again. Defense scores a
Right.
touchdown.
I hope so.
I think that it's gonna be interesting because it's a short week this week, but it allows for a longer week leading in to the Buffalo game, which may end up helping us because we surely need a game plan for that one, arguably more
Absolutely.
than the Giants, right? So like,
Absolutely.
I'm happy that it's this way. And then I know Carol always talks about getting on the road and taking care of business. It'll be our first road game. Hopefully we'll be riding high after a victory, and we can like snowball some momentum off of that. And
Hopefully so.
Yeah.
I also had the Washington football team winning, and it will be the first loss by Daniel Jones to the Washington football team. Because remember, he's 4-0 against the Washington football team since he's been in the league. So this Thursday, he'll be taking his first loss to the Washington football team. I'm thinking the defense is going to have to, what's the word I'm looking for? Have to redeem themselves from that performance on Sunday and show that they can be the dominant defense that everyone talked about in the off season. And I actually saw a couple of journalists talking about they were more worried about the league calling them the number one defense and actually going out there and being the number one defense. So I'm sure they've maybe seen some of those tweets or some of those headlines. So I'm hoping they're going to come out there determined at home to show what type of defense they can be. And Heineke, hopefully, like I say, will continue to progress and show the poise and the patience he showed yesterday. And Gibson's going to have a hell of a bounce back game from that fumble because he knew how critical that was. You saw when they was showing him on the sideline. He knew he had made a critical mistake that probably going to cost his team the game. So
you messed up, AA Ron.
Dead set on having a good game after that debacle. But dudes, let the folks know what you got going on so we can get out of here and we can get into this Nats talk and get ready to get up out of here ourselves.
All right. So if you're an Apple user, you can find the Not Bland Show on Ghostcast. And we just did an NHRA show. And we did a NFL Week 1 show. I broke down this game here. So you can catch both of those shows on Ghostcast. And this week, we'll be talking a little Washington football team, hopefully Wednesday on the breakdown, right behind me here. You can catch that on all podcasting networks as you hear my dog Banner chiming in. We're going to talk a little Washington football team for the Thursday night matchup. We're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers. Did he toss that game? Did he wave the white flag? Said, I'm out of here. We'll talk about it then. So catch us there. And always tweet at me, NotBland21. Love talking shop with you guys. And thanks for having me on. I know I said 30 minutes, but you got me, Carol. You got me.
We always do. And I would just give a shout out on our Twitch feed for the breakdown link and also your articles. And I'll have to get the Ghostcast link for you and I'll add it to the command for the future. But everyone goes to SportsOTHP.com. You can click the Dujournay button, and you can get all of his stuff. And you can also click our podcast partners and catch the breakdown over there as well. Dujournay, we love having you on, helping it break down, especially in a week where I was busy and only could partially watch it. But I always appreciate your candor, and I like that you're not the homer. We can really break it down for real. And I always appreciate your insight, and we look forward to having you on in a couple of weeks or whenever you can come back on.
Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it. Always fun.
All right, dude. Yeah. Take it easy, Mike.
All right.
We got to get into some more unfortunate losses by our Washington team because now I have to get ready to go into Nats talk. And they just took, like Robbie just mentioned a few minutes ago, took the 3-0 loss to the Marlins, who are currently battling for the bottom of the NL East, where the Nats sit there alone now. They're currently 59-85 after this loss tonight. They are now 3 out of 7 in the last 10. And season's pretty much over for the Nationals. Want to cover it like we always do. Win, lose, or draw. We all want to cover our teams. We didn't go on last week for Labor Day holiday. I'm not going to recap those games fully, but I'll go over the scores. They were swept by the Phillies. That's why I'm really not trying to go over the scores. And lost 3 out of 5 to the Mets. The three losses to the Phillies were 7-4, 12-6, and 7-6. And the losses, well, the series against the Mets, where they actually played 5 because the game on Labor Day, they had a game to make up anyway. It was a doubleheader. First game they lost 6-2. Second game they lost 11-9. Third game they won 4-3. Fourth game they lost 13-6. And the fifth game I'm going to recap because that was actually Monday of last week. Well, I'll start breaking down the rest of the games. That game was also a 4-3 victory for the Nats against the Mets. Kyle Finnegan earned the victory that put him to 5-6. He went 2 innings, giving up 1 hit, no earned runs with 2 strikeouts and 1 walk. Edwin Diaz took the loss. He went a third of an inning, giving up 2 hits, 2 earned runs with no strikeouts and 2 walks. Andrew Stevenson had a crucial hit in the 9th inning. He went 1-for-1 pitch hit, RBI single. And Carter Kieboom got his first game-winning RBI. He went 2-for-5 with that RBI game-winning single. Edwin Diaz hadn't given up any earned runs, I believe, in the last 16 or 17 innings of appearances total for him being a closer. And they were able to get to him and win that game to win 2 out of 5 of that 5-game series. And then after that game, they had a 3-game series versus the Braves. They lost 2 out of 3 of those, unfortunately. First game was an 8-5 loss. Luke Jackson earned the victory. That put him at 2-2. He went an inning and a third, giving up no hits, no runs with 3 strikeouts, and no walks. Ryan Harper took the loss for the Nats. That dropped him to 0-2. He didn't get 1 out at all, so he went for .0 innings. That gave up 2 hits, 2 runs, no strikeouts, and a walk. And Will Smith earned the save for the Braves. That's his 31st. He went 1 inning, giving him no hits, no runs, no strikeouts, and no walks. Juan Soto went 2 for 2 and with 3 walks with the RBI single, and Yadiel Hernandez went 2 for 4 with a 3-run home run. Juan Soto, his on-base percentage is ridiculous. He's getting walked almost every game because they're afraid of his bat. Josh Bell has been playing better. So they've been having to pitch to Soto because both of those guys are in competition for the home run and RBI lead on the team. I believe Bell has the lead of 28. Soto has 27. So Soto, he hasn't had the stellar season with all the weapons we had earlier in the season, but he's still doing this thing at the plate. The second game of the series was a 4-2 victory. Austin Voth earned the victory. That put him at 4-1. He went an inning and 2/3, giving up 1 hit, 1 run with 3 strikeouts and 2 walks. Richard Rodriguez took the loss. That dropped him to 4-3. He went 1 inning, giving up 1 hit with 1 run, no strikeouts and no walks. Kyle Finnegan earned his 8th save of the season. He went 1 inning, giving up 1 hit, no runs with 2 strikeouts and no walks. Josh Bell went 1 for 4 with a solo home run, and Juan Soto went 2 for 5 with a solo home run. In the final game, and if you hear that, that's my dog over in the corner being a butt during the show. Sound like he's throwing up something. I don't know why all he does is during the show. He could have waited till we went off the air.
Animals always find the moment.
Yeah. What you over there doing? I gotta go clean up some little carpet. Jesus. Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I've been there. I have a puppy. She's chewing on everything, Carol. Everything.
Maybe hopefully it was just dry heat. That's all. But the last
I also
game,
have a cat. Talk about cats. So, king of dry heaves.
folks this for the podcast, but like, what in the hell are they talking about? The last game of the series went 10 innings, extra innings. It was a 7-6 loss. Jacob Webb earned the victory. That put him at 3-2. He went 1 inning, giving up no hits, no runs, no strikeouts, no walks. Wander Swirl took the loss. That dropped him to 2-3. He went 1 2/3, giving up 1 hit, 1 run unearned with 2 strikeouts and a walk. Josh Bell went 1 for 5 with the RBI double, and Garcia went 2 for 5 with the solo home run. This game, I believe, was at the game the pitchers couldn't get anybody out. I think they that was against the Pirates when Josiah Gray walked, I think, 8 batters, and the team walked like 13 in total. It was crazy. They was couldn't buy a strikeout or couldn't buy an easy inning in that game. But the series against Atlanta, Atlanta's fighting for the playoffs. They're playing some good ball. I was happy that they got 1 out of 3. I would love to get 2 out of 3. They had an opportunity in the last game, but unfortunately, they couldn't get it together. Wanda Squirrel gave up a walk with the man on the top of the 10th, and unfortunately, they were able to get the run, and the Nats couldn't do anything about it. Going into the series against Pittsburgh, who the Washington Nationals normally have no problem taking care of. They actually lost 2 out of 3 to Pittsburgh and was almost in danger of getting swept. They didn't win the last game of the series. I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but I'm used to. We're used to, since we've been doing this show, the Nats being World Series contenders and powerhouse. Not used to having weeks where they don't win any games or win 1 game or having sub 500. So pardon the lack of.
Well, I mean, to be fair, we covered it from the beginning of the season. We covered every single game. Not many people cover every single game, that the Nats do. A lot of people probably would have given up by now covering them with all the other sports that we do, but we'll cover them. Good, bad, pretty ugly, whatever it takes. We'll be there. Real quickly, I just wanted to get a couple of other quick sports notes in, and then we can sort of talk about a couple of things and wrap up. We'll talk about the schedule in a second for the Nats, but I want to talk about some really incredible. You were finished with this week, right? For the
I still have the Pittsburgh series real quick to go.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Go for that first.
Yeah,
sorry, I thought you.
Yeah, it's not.
You were like we had a bad week, so I thought that was the wrap up.
I was apologizing because the Pittsburgh series ain't that much better. So I'm like, yeah, that was the series where they lost, and like I said, they walked, I think, 13 batters. It was just horrible. They only gave up like 6 hits, but they lost 10-7 because of all the damn walks. Shout out to Mark Moore. You got to get the Mets some love there above the Nats. Yeah, he's a Mets fan, so I got to get him some love too. They still fighting for their playoff life also. But Pittsburgh, as I mentioned, the Nats lost 2 out of 3. First game was a 4-3 loss. Chad Kuhl took the win for the Pittsburgh. He's 5-6 now. He was in for 1 inning, gave up no hits, no runs, with 1 strikeout and no walks. Patrick Murphy took the loss. I still have no idea who that is in the bullpen now. He's now 0-2. He went the third of an inning, giving a 1 hit, 2 runs, no strikeouts and a walk. Josh Bell went 1 for 2 with a solo home run, and Lane Thomas went 1 for 3 with the RBI single. Second game was a 10-7 loss. That's the game I was talking about, where they had so many walks they couldn't get anybody out. Kyle Keller earned the victory of Pittsburgh. That put him at 1-1. He went 1 inning, giving up no hits, no runs, with 1 strikeout and no walks. Alberto Ronaldo took the loss for the Nats. He dropped him to 0-1. He went a third of an inning, giving up 2 runs. Neither one of those earned, no strikeouts and 2 walks. Chris Stratton earned his 4th save. He went 1 inning, giving up no hits, no runs, with 1 strikeout and no walks. Juan Soto went 4 for 5 with the RBI single, and Yadier Hernandez went 1 for 5 with the RBI single. In the final game of the series, Patrick Corbin earned the 6-2 victory. That put him at 8-14. This is one of his better outings of the season. He went 7 innings, giving up 4 hits, 2 runs, 4 strikeouts, and 2 walks. Brian Wilson took the loss. That dropped him to 2-7. He's went 4 1/3, giving up 7 hits, 5 runs with no strikeouts and 2 walks. And Cal Finnegan earned his 9th save of the season, going 1 2/3 with no hits, no runs, and a strikeout with no walks. Luis Garcia went 1 for 4 with a solo home run, and Avila went 1 for 4 with a solo home run. The upcoming schedule is the game of tonight was already over versus the Marlins. They have another game on Tuesday that starts at 7:05, and a game on Wednesday that starts at 1:05. Then they fly to Colorado. They're off Thursday, and then they have a 3-game series versus Colorado. Friday start at 7, Saturday start at 4, and the Sunday start at 1. Um, I have no idea what to expect out of this team. I'm not even gonna give a prediction. I'm just hoping that they win more than they lose.
Sounds good. All right. So real quickly, I just want to talk about a couple other quick sports stats and stuff. The U.S. Open. We always talk about the Grand Slams a little bit. This young lady from Britain won the U.S. Open. I mean, crazy story. So, Carol, I don't know if you follow tennis. I know you at one point did.
I do watch it, but I haven't got a chance to watch any lately.
Yeah. So basically, kind of a crazy story. She won the draw to get into Wimbledon, even though she was like 338th ranked player. She got in a couple of rounds and then lost. 2 months later, she was in a qualifying competition for the U.S. Open. So she had to win a qualifying competition to get in. And then from there, she never lost a set and won all the way through. And at like, I think she's 18 or 19 years old. 18 years old, just won $2.5 million for winning the U.S. Open. I mean, what a crazy story. And then she beat another player who was also super young. I want to say that she was a Canadian. I think she was 19 years old, who beat all the great players in it. So it's just like these two young players that no one saw coming, unranked, both of them, came and played in the finals, and this young British woman won both of them in straight sets, 6-4, 6-3. On the men's side, more interesting. So there's been this lead up to like, and this question on whether or not Djokovic could win the Grand Slam. He'd won the 3 previous, right? So he had an opportunity to win what's called the Calendar Slam, which is to win all 4 in the same year. Very, very, very rare. He actually had a chance to win the Golden Slam, which is when a year where the Olympics happened, to get the gold medal and all 4. No man has ever done it. So he lost and was pretty upset in the Olympics. I thought that might like screw up his psyche. I thought he wouldn't even make the finals maybe in the US Open because of that, but he made it all the way to the finals and then played Medvedev, who's the number 2 in the world. And Medvedev finally beat Djokovic, and he beat him in 3 straight sets, 6-4, 6-4, 6-4. And so Djokovic was so close to winning the Calendar Slam, but he ends up losing. So I thought that was interesting. I just wanted to put that out into the world. And then the other news is DC United. We always try to cover them at the end. I don't have Brian to join me for that. It's interesting. The New York Red Bulls played the DC United on the anniversary of 9/11, which makes sense, New York versus DC, so that they could celebrate the anniversary of that. It was a 1-1 draw. So I guess that's in soccer, it's very fitting, right? But no one came out a loser that day. So that's the latest game in that. Hold on, let me just bring up the table real fast. MLS table, because they were right on the outside. They were right like in the 7th spot before. They actually moved up with that tie into the 6th spot, but both of the 6th and 7th seed are tied at 31 points. So them in Montreal, they're just 1 point over the Atlanta United. So they're just barely holding on. Again, 1 point for a tie, 3 points for a win. So it's all very close, but that will go into October. So I just wanted to cover a little bit of that, and then the Mystics schedule. I was just gonna quickly just go over the scores from the last 2 weeks, just real fast, because I wanted to cover that. Basically, when we last left off, they had beat the Wings. They ended up losing to the Sun on that following Tuesday. They lose to the Lynx the following Saturday. They lose to the Storm on Tuesday, September 7th. And they finally got a win. It had been a while against the Dream, 82-74 on Friday. And then yesterday they continued that quote unquote winning streak with beating the Sky, 79-71. Their next game is on Friday against the Liberty. There's also a game on Sunday versus the Lynx. And I'm just pulling up real quickly. Sorry, the WNBA standings, because they were right at the 4th place spot before. So right now, Interesting. So now they're doing like the seeding where like you would see where they are in the whole entire thing. They're currently the 8th ranked team. So I think they're in the playoffs, but barely, if I remember correctly. I'm trying to remember if 7 or 8 teams make it in that, or if there's like a bye. Anyway, kind of down for the most part, but then a little bit up at the end for the Mystics. And we'll cover how all those teams do. And DC United schedule. The next game for the DC United was on Wednesday against Chicago, and then they play that Atlanta team on next Saturday. So a bunch of games this week. Basically 3 games in a row. Some weeks they only have 2, so 1 a week kind of thing. So 2 games that we'll recap, and 2 games the Mystics will quickly recap next week as well. Next week might be my last week before my paternity leave. Liz is due the following Monday is the expected date. So I don't know if I will. It'll just depend on whether Zara is on time or late or early. So next week might be my last one. We'll see. I might do one more. But Carol and the gang will get you covered. And I know that they'll do a great job with that while I'm away. And I appreciate them, and for everybody for checking us out on all the different platforms, everyone for commenting in. Lots of comments back and forth on the Facebook live feed. I appreciate that. We had a couple of good friends, the Leon Lounge and Carly, and a couple other people come through on Twitch as well. So I appreciate it a lot. And I hope that you guys all have a great week. And Carol, any final thoughts before we head out?
As always, appreciate you guys tuning in. Go check out the website, SportsOTHP.com. Check out the prayer line, see the district championship Robbie has on. You can get that on there. You can hit me up for the SportsOTHP apparel that I have on. Make sure you check us out. Go share and like it and let folks know. We getting suppressed on certain social media platforms and not putting our product out there like they were before. So make sure you check out our YouTube channels and our website, because certain social media outlets are restricting what we're putting out, because it's some of the best coverage you're going to get around. Stay tuned Thursday night. Probably have a pregame on. It's an 8:20 kickoff. So if I don't,
did you say you were going to have Brian on for that?
Maybe you have to check with the schedules that he might be going out for the game, but if not, he'll let me know by tomorrow if he'll be on. If not, I'll do the pregame as always, postgame after, win, lose, or draw. So tune in for that Thursday night. Hopefully we'll be going into a victory Friday, because I was looking forward to a victory Monday, but unfortunately that didn't go down. And as always, check out At the Bar Radio every Sunday. Not this Sunday, we're taking off. Renegade has a performance in the DMV at the Indy Fest. So if you're in the area, if you got tickets, make sure you go check him out. So
you have a Sunday without your show and without Washington football team. That's crazy.
I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna be sleeping.
Yeah.
So
sounds amazing.
Make sure you check out the DMV. I might end up at the Indy Fest. So like I said, it might not be a day off. So
that's kind of a day off. It's not you're not working. So.
Well, we were talking about possibly streaming live from down there. So
okay. Well, different.
I got to catch up with 151. We got a lot of things in the works. We got some new gear. He just upgraded his laptop. He back part of the MacBook family. He got the 4K camera. We shooting in 4K now. We got a web series we about to start working on, and about to start pushing our YouTube channels a lot harder, because as I said, a couple of social media outlets are blocking what we're doing. So be on the lookout. We got a lot of things in the works. Got a lot of partnerships that we're looking to finalize some deals on, and you'll see a lot more coming from. We have a political community show that we're working on. We'll actually have the local citizen that's running for sheriff down in Charles County, and also working with having an interview with the state's attorney of Charles County. So just be on the lookout. We don't just do sports. We do a variety of everything. We're multimedia. We can do it all, because we got tired of the mainstream media putting all the crazy stuff out there, not talking about the real stuff. And that's what we do. Man, I'm about to get up out of here. I always got to end the show with some independent music videos. I'm going to be updating them soon. Got some nice stuff coming through At the Bar Radio. So if you have any music that you want to put out there, in my inbox. So check out the graphic with At the Bar Radio. Email my man 151 MP3s only. If you don't send no sound file, nothing like that, because he will fry you. But just be on the lookout. So much going on. Like I said, Renegade got a live performance this weekend. In the show with one of his videos, made my acting debut in this one, and a couple other independent artists that we had on the show. So stay tuned as always for the best DC sports coverage around and the best media around. DC sports are the politics. It's not just a catchphrase. It's not just a motto. It's what we do. And we out. See you next week.